Good morning. In this episode, I decided to do a backstory on how what is today's higher secondary school in Samiyar in the Nagarkoil Thiruvananthapuram highway all began. Well, I used to very distinctly remember, even today I remember, a grand old man by name Kythavilakom neelakanda Pillai, my dad's own maternal uncle. My dad's maternal uncle. And Kythavilakom neelakanda Pillai died, or rather passed away, way back in the late 40s. I was a very young kid and I was afraid of going near the funeral pyre in the Kythavilakom estate because I thought, as a little kid, maybe 3 or 4 years of age, that this person who deceased the previous day, and he might pull me into the pyre and I will also lose my life. That is what made me not to go to anywhere near this funeral pyre. Okay. The next thing is, where is this Kythavilakom estate? There is the junction, a tri-junction, that is out of which there is a road leading toward Thrivikramji and then via Padmanabhapuram, so on and so forth. This road, or down this road from Samiyar Madam in the Nagarkoil Thiruvananthapuram road, passes through a small hamlet, really small, maybe 10 houses, called Pillai. And of course, the Kythavilakom estate is not set against this road. Instead, it is set in the back waters of this road. In other words, those days, any wealthy family will not live very close to the thoroughfares. There would be a branch road connecting the thoroughfare with the estate. So, there is still a hand-painted, drawn portrait of Sri late Neelakanda Pillai in the Kythavilakom homestead. Well, somewhere in the inside of those complex, there is a central home or a central structure which is called a Thrivikramji. Let us say mother home, mother structure. There it says a engraving on a piece of wooden plank, a small one, handcrafted one, that the whole complex was built by Mr. late Neelakanda Pillai. On the right east side of this complex is what is called the Padipura, or the facade of the house, and at the rear side of this central structure is the Arapura, or a place literally translated into English should sound like or mean like a place where storage space, large wooden storage boxes, huge ones, Pattayam it is called. You can walk down into it through a hole, what is called a rectangular space, open space, which can be covered tight with a lid, wooden lid. So one or two such handcrafted, carpenter-made storage spaces were in the Arapura. And this Neelakanda Pillai late, I used to call him grandfather Arapupa. What is this man's contribution in addition to building this homestead in Kythavilakom? He is definitely very powerful person for several reasons. He used to own a lot of land, that is one. Right from where the school, higher secondary school, Samiyar Madam stands today, to that junction called the Samiyar Madam further in the southerly direction, and from there to this road toward Thrivikramji up to what is called the Pillai, the land belonged to this family. In addition to that, there were tens of acres of paddy field. Of course, acres do not mean anything, because unless there is water, only rain-fed agriculture. The rainwater is stored in one large pond. It is large, appeared large in my preschool days, because it's large. I mean, it's little lad, so I am afraid of going very close to the water. But if I went there now, I will immediately think that, oh, this is what I thought as a large pond. Okay. Only problem with the Samiyar Madam area was there was no school. There is no primary school, no facility for primary classes. The school was actually predates my birth in 1943. The story is, this Apupan, grandfather, he gathered the powerful and moneyed people, both Nadars and Nayars. There were very wealthy Nadars as well as Nayars, and made a resolution, and this group gathered in a Kythavilakom family, in the Kythavilakom, what is called Kythavilakom estate, and then resolved to build a school building to start with. The land will be donated by the Kythavilakom family. And then, once the building is completed, it will be furnished, and then they will go to the Department of Education of the state of Travancore and make a request for taking over the building and the property, landed property there, and start a elementary school with class 1 to class 5. And this building was very beautiful one. In those days, in that part of Kanyakumari district, as well as in Thiruvananthapuram also. The buildings or the building material was rubble. The rubble is long lasting, absolutely no doubt. Unlike a concrete. Concrete is constructed rock, whereas a rock rubble is naturally occurring rock. So this school building is not a huge one. I would say that in plan view, it is like one of the brackets. Well, if you look at the modern keyboard in laptop or desktop, there will be at least 3 different brackets. One is a square bracket, a pair, a left and right one, then a double bracket, then a curved bracket. So I was thinking about the plan view, what is the appropriate word for the plan view of the school building. Then all of a sudden it occurred to my mind that, yeah, it is like one of those square brackets, not both. Then you will have some kind of a courtyard in the middle. So this square bracket-like building has a long segment, well, not infinitely long, only 5 classrooms. And then the perpendicular to both ends of this 5 classroom block is there is a 1 room each perpendicular structures to the longitudinal one. At one end, in fact, in this particular school in my mind, the headmaster or the head teacher used to sit on the southern 1 room perpendicular structure. In the northern 1 room perpendicular structure, there was a classroom. And to the southern end of the longitudinal structure, there was a teacher's room. My dad was a teacher, used to teach in their school. I too went there through class 1 and class 2. So this building was completed, furnished. Furnishing is not very pompous. Some benches, blackboards, provision blackboard stands, that is very important. And then what is the roof made of? Roof is with rafters and rippers, timber. But roofing material is not a red tile. Roofing material is simply matted coconut leaf. And this is very common. Those days, this is the cheapest commodity. Only trouble is this needs to be replaced annually. Being a school, a public facility, this rethatching with matted coconut leaf, that is actually free, voluntary work. It is a contribution by the members of the society. So that is, then what is the other part? The school building definitely has windows and doors, all are timber, and there are provision for lock and key, and there is a night watcher, etc. All these were implemented, these ideas were. And then Kythavilakom, late Neelakanda Pillai, went to Thakkalai. Thakkala is only 7 miles from Samiyar, or within 6 or 7 miles. There is a inspector's office, school inspector's office. In other words, that is a sub-office. And the entire education system is looked after by an inspector of schools. And this man, or rarely a woman those days, this man is an appointee by the Maharaja of Travancore or Diwan of Travancore those days. and he goes on a visit from north to south, at least twice a year, and to monitor, to oversee, and check out how the training and learning process, teaching and learning process takes place, to find out some kind of merit or demerit in it. And of course, when there is a demerit, it will be pointed out. The inspector will write a report and submit to the government, and the copy of which will go to the head teacher, headmaster of the school. That was the system. So anyway, this Samiyar school is complete in all respects except a class and teachers and students. In other words, one structure is, infra is ready. The family, the parent, the activists led by Neelakanda Pillai, they just waited, made a written request to officers concerned, the government, Tahsildar and others, including Diwan, etc. They wrote letters requesting the government, state of Travancore, to open a government school for facilitating education of the kids. And interestingly, this is not a monolingual school, because there is a large community of Nadars who speak Tamil, and a minor community of Nayars who speak Malayalam. The school had what is called the bilingual status. It was agreed upon by the community leaders. And then the waiting was infinite. Waiting was in vain. So Mr. Pillai, late Pillai, decided to go in person and meet this inspector of the schools of Thrivikramji Samsthanam, and then Travancore state, when on his visit to stay and visit to the south, stay in Thakalai. Definitely there is a traveler's bungalow, and that is where the officers on visits will stay, because they get all kinds of infra facilities, that is, food will be provided, and all those facilities will be there. And then there, of course, the special status. Hotels were very few anyway. And of course, in the morning, Mr. late Pillai was present. There was no seat to sit. He waited in the veranda, and then around, this is what Apupa told. Then came this gentleman, and then Apupa made a request that the school building is ready, everything is put in place. Only thing is, the state will have to start this class, elementary school, with the 1 to 5 classes. Then the answer was not positive, because there are no children. There is school. There are some schools, but far away, 2 or 3 miles away from this location, or in the radius of 2 or 3 miles, there is no elementary school. That is what the system in the ground is. So this was not very clear to this inspector of schools, because he was unaware of that. And then Apupa said, grandfather said, well, please kindly visit the place and make a decision, recommend a decision to Diwan of the state of Travancore to start this school. And that, very diplomatically, that man said, I will do all my best, but I'm not sure whether the government will approve, Diwan will approve. So then what happened was, another year went by without the classes, without the school. And then Apupan decided to make a visit to the visiting school inspector who stayed in Thakalai in the same traveler's bungalow the following year. And Apupan also carried a kaya rope along with this during that trip. Then what he did, in the veranda, he tied the rope to the one of the beams or the rafter, whatever. And then the other end of the rope was tied to his neck. And when this man came out, the official, the inspector, Appupan declared, I am going to kill myself. I am ready. If I jump from the veranda to the yard, I will die. You will be a witness and you are responsible for my death. And the tone, the expression in the face, etc., gave the message to the official, the inspector, the same old man who visited previous year, or who Appupa met the previous year. He said, Pillai, don't do that. I will sanction the school right away. And then Appupan, it was actually a drama staged by Appupan. And then it really clicked. The school was approved and classes began. This class 1, class 2, the next year, class 2, next following year, class 3. And I had the wonderful opportunity to do the class 1 and the class 2 in the school. My dad was a school teacher there. And probably my dad had the first job as a school teacher, primary school teacher or elementary school teacher, beginning in that year when this class was sanctioned. Probably I entered the class 1, maybe in the third or fourth or fifth year, I don't know. Because I know one thing, I studied there for 2 years, and then my dad was transferred to another school in the village called Viennur. And naturally, because I was a very small boy, I was also enrolled in the school where my dad went, the Viennur school. I studied class 3, class 4 and class 5 in the Viennur school. And there also during the tenure of my dad as the head teacher there, a red tiled masonry building was constructed for the school. And the layout those days was very simple, like one of the brackets, square brackets, not both, one of the. So then what happened was, the development of the Samiyar Madam Elementary School was very fast. The government then, that is state of Travancore, approved a middle school wing and provided a building. And of course that no building is actually what is called a semi-permanent building, needing thatching every year. But semi-permanent it is called because it is only half, the walls are only half tall. And above this half tall wall, there is what is called a bamboo screen. Not a screen, something like a bamboo screen. When if I said, people will imagine like it is something like pulpai. No. It is actually a meshed in the sense, it will not allow large animals and birds to go in. And it also will provide air flow and shining of natural light immensely. So that was the school building. No building added to the Samiyar Madam government LP school. Those days elementary school, primary school those days it is called. And this building came up on the east side of the place where I studied, the building that my Appupa constructed, my granddad and his team voluntarily made contributions and built and finally got approval. Now the situation is, this grandma building is no more there. Instead, there are at least two, three-story and three or two-story buildings with several classrooms up to higher secondary class operates from this complex. The whole land in which the school stands, this belongs to this Kythavilakom family and one or two wealthy Nadars in a place called Pulippunam, which is not very far, maybe 100 meters or 150 meters from the school compound, northern edge of the school compound, toward Thiruvananthapuram direction. So, this is a very interesting episode that I recall. For several things it is important. For one thing, this was the first, though it is called Malayalam school, it is a bilingual school, Tamil classes and Tamil teachers, Tamil language teaching teachers to Tamil kids were there. And this provided an opportunity, including me, to go to school. Not only me, several guys like me, several girls like I don't know who, all are probably dead and gone. Are still alive, I don't know. But some people I still remember. At least their names, etc. I remember because when I came back to the Samiyar Madam, erstwhile primary school, then a middle school and primary school combined to do my middle school class, first 2 years. That is, first year is called first form, second year is called second form, third form up to sixth form, SSLC. By the October of the second form, in 1952, I think, I had the good fortune to go to Thiruvananthapuram, because my family shifted to Thiruvananthapuram, and I went to a school in Thiruvananthapuram and in a place called Ambalamukku, and the name of the school is a private school. Only middle school classes are offered, and that is called Temple Entry Memorial Middle School. And I distinctly remember even today with reverence, late Balakrishna Pillai Sir, who was the head teacher of their school. He was a family friend of mine. Not only that, he was very strict, and he had contributed a bit, or a bit, for my special interest in learning and reading. And Sir is no more. And of course, Sir used to live in Ambalamukku later on. Initially, he was living right across the Temple Entry Memorial UP school, or middle school rather. So, this is the story of not only my school education, primary, and primary school, class 1 and class 2 education, but also the launch of a school in Samiyar Madam with the efforts of leaders in the community led by Kythavilakom neelakanda Pillai, who I used to address as grandfather Appupa. And this gentleman is actually the maternal uncle of my dad. Thank you.